Medical Properties Trust is a real estate investment trust stock that has had a very tough last 3 years. The stock is down substantially in the last 3 years. It's really sold off more than 76% from its high. The reason for it is, unfortunately, one of their principal tenants has gone bankrupt and they can't pay their leases. That really puts a crunch on MPW profits, their cash flow, their funds from operations. Typically, REITs are pretty stable companies that pay good dividends, and investors like the income from a stock like this. In this case, MPW has turned into a really high risk venture where if the company really goes up in value due to a rebound in the business, a recovery of the business, stockholders can double, triple, quadruple their money very quickly. At the same time, the news has been bad for some time, and it seems like the news isn't getting better quickly. And a lot of short sellers have entered the company. Is this a stock worth considering, or should it be something I completely stay away from? I'll answer that question toward the end of the video when I complete my analysis. Looking at the past year for this stock, it really has been a volatile stock. We've seen big drops in a matter of a couple of months. Back in December through January, over a course of a month, the stock really collapsed about 43%. But then it turned around and really jumped up over 90% over the course of 4 months. It turned back down, turned back up, and more recently, it really nosedived about 25% over the course of 3 weeks. So it really has been a stock with great volatility. If you can trade this stock, boy, you could probably make a few bucks. But I'm a long-term investor. I'd prefer to buy something that's going to work over the course of a year or longer. My most desirable stocks are those that I feel are going to double in value every 5 years. So that way I can continue to just appreciate that investment, have it grow and compound. In this case here, this is a different investment where it's really about if this company gets back on its feet, becomes profitable, investors will be rewarded. This will immediately be a 100%, 200%, 300% gain for investors that stick it out. But the news has just been rough, and it's really not gotten better over the course of at least a year and a half from what I've been aware of. Let's take a closer look at fundamentals. Hey, I appreciate you watching the video, and I wanted to ask you to consider being a paid member of this channel. You'll get a variety of perks depending on the level you subscribe to, and I feel these perks are worth the money you would invest in the form of value add and access to community conference calls, as well as I'll be more receptive to the stocks that you want to analyze on live streams as well as videos. Please take a look, and if there is a program that you want to be a part of, I'd really appreciate your support. Thanks. MPW has a market cap of 2.85 billion. It's really gone down over the last 3 years. Revenues for the trailing 12 months are 320 million. That has also gone down substantially over the last 3 years, principally because one of their primary tenants is not paying their rent. And second, they've been selling off properties to create liquidity and be able to stay in business. The company does pay an attractive 11% dividend, primarily because the stock price has gone down so much that it's made that dividend rate really attractive. The dividend payout amount has been declining over the last few years, showing that the company just has less funds from operations to distribute out. Analysts cover the stock, and I'm going to take a look at that in a bit. They feel that the stock is discounted just by 10%. I would argue that it's probably discounted far more because the risk in the stock is really high. Investors should be paid a very high return if the company makes it. Analysts cover the stock. A total of 9 of them have been reviewing the stock and voicing an opinion on MPW. There's somebody that's very optimistic and feels like the stock should be worth $7 per share. That'd be a really nice return for investors. The most pessimistic analyst believes it's a $4 stock. That would be a haircut, but it's not too far of a bottom. I think that the upside is much higher. When we look at their projection of revenue and profits, revenue is expected to stabilize. They're about a $1 billion company looking at their fiscal year 2024. The revenue is going to go down a little bit, but their profitability is going to be there in 2025. That's positive news. And it's going to be there in 2026. They're not going to shatter any records, but if this company can just show that they're going to be in business and stay in business, that's positive news. And the stock will probably rise because the value of their assets, the real estate they own, is there for the company. The other thing I like about MPW is that they are in an industry, or they support an industry that is pretty stable, healthcare stable. We need hospitals, we need urgent cares, medical offices, so that people can go get treated for whatever they need. So I think that the profitability and stability in the stock could really lead to higher stock prices for this company. All the bad news has attracted short sellers, and this stock has 35% of its shares shorted, which means that obviously the bad news is bad news. That there's no way around that. But if the stock were to begin to rally and have a sustained rally, there may be a short squeeze that would further push the stock up. That's a reality there. Now, if the company does go bankrupt, one reality is that they own real estate. That real estate could be liquidated. So I don't know that shareholders would lose their entire investment in MPW should there be a bankruptcy. There would be assets that would be liquidated, and shareholders would receive at least part of their investment back. So what's going to happen to MPW? Will they flourish and stock price will go up, or will they fail and go into bankruptcy? I don't know. And that threat of bankruptcy is real. This stock could really be a distraction for my portfolio, and I'd rather not be an investor. I'm really looking for quality, and I'm looking for things that are going to really appreciate over a 5-year time span. I think that MPW has a chance to make it, and I certainly hope they do. I hope that they make it for the sake of their employees, for their customers, for their tenants, everybody involved. I hope they make it. I also hope that MPW really corrects some of these bad practices that led to having Stewart, their biggest tenant, go bankrupt and then not be able to pay their leases. I think their policies and the way they operate should really be changed so that they're more conservative and more careful with who they're leasing their properties out to. That's pretty obvious, but it should happen because they certainly got themselves into a mess and things should be changed. Maybe a change in management is also a good idea. I know times are tough, but I would hold the management team responsible for a lot of the problems that they faced. Let's face it, people made decisions and those decisions were quite poor. So that's my analysis on MPW. I hope you found it interesting. If you're a stockholder, I hope that the company makes it, and I hope you double your money. But this is a risky stock that I'd rather stay away from. Thanks again for watching. Good luck investing.